So in this video today is for people that are 20 years old, but also for people that are lost and need some type of direction in one of the things that I may cover in this video. I wanted to start off by saying that the first thing that's really important is to understand that you need to have some time where you're all by yourself and you're all alone. And this can include being by yourself where you do things that you actually like to do, where you don't need other people to be with you to actually do the things that you like to do. I'm afraid of saying this, but is that you should learn how to actually be single. And it's important because it's just going back to the point that I've just made now, that you need to be able to do the things that you like to do. That you may want a relationship, but you have to actually be ready to be in a relationship. So the next lesson that I actually wanted to say in this video is to actually put yourself first. And this means that whenever things are like out of your control, that you shouldn't like stress out over things that are out of your control. I mean, I wanted to say that stress also makes people not be able to think clearly. So that's why it's good for you to not stress over the little things. And I also wanted to say that you need to actually put yourself out there where you have new experiences, you meet new people. And I might have said this in another video, you're able to adapt to different situations and you're able to adapt to meeting new people. And this goes into my next point of giving people a chance. You never know until you approach someone or if someone else approaches you, because it's good for you to have communication with someone else, and depending on how they react, it will tell you what it says about a person. So the next thing that I wanted to say is that whenever I say the word arguments, what pops up in your head? You're probably thinking about two people shouting at each other. And when you do argue, it's just that sometimes people want to avoid arguments, and when you avoid arguments, the situation is likely to happen again. So it's important for you to actually say what you want to say in an argument in like a respectful way, and to also hear what the other person has to say. It's good for you to actually learn from your mistakes, because I know that no one's really perfect and you can make mistakes, but as long as you learn from your mistakes, you're less likely to make the mistake again. And also I wanted to say that another lesson that you can learn is that it's good for you to keep yourself accountable. And I'll give you an example. It's like saying that you're going to do something for someone and then you don't do it. You obviously feel the guilt for not actually doing it, and then also someone else is less likely to trust what you say and take you less seriously. If you said you're going to do it, it's extra important because you said it, and people are relying on you to do your part, and then you're relying on other people to do their part. The next point that I wanted to make is that you can't change the past, and you can't change the past because you're no longer the person that you were in the past, and all you can do is just live in the present moment and try and do everything you can for a good future. Yeah, the next lesson that you should really do is to actually have a to-do list rather than a schedule, because a schedule is something that you follow, like all the time, and a schedule is always the same thing every day, and some people don't like routines, so a to-do list is much better, because then you can like put a list of all the important things that you want to do. And a schedule is like hard to change. That's why I think people don't stick to a schedule, because a schedule is so restricting, and people want freedom, people want the opportunity to change what they're doing in a day. And when you can't stick to a schedule, it will then be harder for you to actually stay motivated. I wanted to say something which I believe was very impactful for me and very impactful hopefully for you watching this, is that it's good for you to put trust in yourself more. And even if things that you want are not going to be easy, it's good for you to actually believe in yourself that you can do it and take some small step forward to get to that goal. And it's good for you to trust yourself, because if you trust yourself, you're more likely to go after something, and you're more likely to not be easily told what to do. And yeah, when you're putting trust in yourself, you're more likely to do the best thing in that moment for you. If you set a goal and you haven't achieved the goal yet, goals aren't impossible to achieve. It's just that sometimes you have to believe that you can do the goal and then actually find reasonable ways of getting to the goal. And I have a goal of this year trying to hit 1,000 subscribers. And it's up to me to show up all the time. It's up for me to actually communicate. And I reckon every little small step that I take, you can apply it into your own life and then figure out what exactly you need to work on. Because goals are like a ladder. You go up, and if the ladder breaks, for example, it just means that you have to do everything you can to build a solid foundation. And if you build a solid foundation in like a ladder and you climb up the ladder, you're more likely to achieve the goals that you're hoping to achieve. And no goal is really impossible, it's just that it takes a lot of time. You should learn how to speak up for the things that you want to say and the things you want other people to do. And it's better for you to be heard rather than not being heard at all. And the next thing that I'm going to say is that if things don't go your way, you shouldn't complain. And I'm not saying you can't be disappointed, and I'm not saying that you can't journal like any negative thoughts that you have. But I'm saying that if you do complain, I'm saying that what you should do is just don't complain and blame other people, because it won't get you anywhere. You're just going to be in the same position, because then you would expect other people to do the things that you want for you when you should do that for yourself. Do you want to know about what the best thing is about being much more happier? Is that when you actually start to take care of yourself, you start becoming happier, you start wanting to be more positive, you're starting to want to uplift people as well. And yeah, when you take care of yourself, you can tell that from the inside and from the outside, you're just like a better person. And it's not just you that sees it, and it's not just the mirror, but other people such as friends and family that you know will actually see the improvement. It's good for you to actually spend time with people that actually care about you rather than people that don't care about you. And in this example, it's just that it's easier to tell when people actually care about you, but you don't dedicate enough time to actually talk to them or actually spend time with them. It's usually the opposite, where people want attention from people that don't give them the time of day, that don't really talk to them. If something is meant for you, it will happen for you. And sometimes you don't even have to do much. You just have to follow a path, and you should be yourself. And when you're following a path, it's good for you to actually surround yourself with people that you have things in common with, that actually like to be around you. If you do the opposite of what I'm saying, where if you pretend to be something you're not or someone you're not, and you get the thing that you want, it's just that you're gonna have like short-term happiness, because you're not exactly being yourself. You're not reflecting your best qualities, that's what I'm trying to say. You shouldn't compare yourself to someone else, and you shouldn't compare your life to someone else's. It's because if you compare yourself to someone else, is that you have to know this, that you can't be exactly like someone else. You can only be your best version of yourself. And if you try and be exactly like someone else, people can see through that. When everyone has their own purpose, it's not actually a race. That when you find your purpose, or if you don't know what your purpose is, it's good for you to actually take time to yourself, or even ask people that you know the things that you're good at, and then you can see if something works for you or if it doesn't. But it's good for you to at least try something to figure out if something works for you. And usually when you are living your purpose and you see that things are going well for you, you should celebrate your small wins. And I'm saying this because whenever I've achieved something really small, that I just ignore it. It did bother me, because I know that when I achieved something small, I didn't appreciate it. And it's good for you to appreciate even the small wins, because when you appreciate the small wins, it's much easier for you to see how far you've come on your journey. And it really is about the journey, not really about the destination, because the journey never ends. The second to last thing that I wanted to say is that You should have some type of boundaries. It will stop someone else from taking advantage of you. There are certain things that may cross your boundaries, but you just won't let it happen because you have boundaries. It's good for you to actually never stop learning. Because you don't know something really well, it can make you or someone else uncomfortable. And when you're uncomfortable, it gives you the opportunity to grow.